Hello, you all. It's your girl Tiffany, Madam Luscious Black Beauty, your poetic psychic Pisces, High Priestess, aka the light that shines like 8 diamonds. I am here tonight for another one of my story times with Poetic Psychic Pisces, High Priestess. I am thankful and glad for each and every one of you whom are listening and watching. If you would be so kind to like, share, and subscribe at some point in time throughout tonight's story time, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay, guys. So without any further ado, we are just going to jump right into tonight's story time, which is entitled Corporate Corruption. Okay, of course, everything has been written originally by yours truly. As always, I'd like to provide a brief disclaimer about tonight's story time. As I always tell you all, although I am speaking about very truthful, very real, very problematic scenarios and issues that are happening and our, the everyday world and societies all around us, guys, this is a fictional story in which I created. Okay, so I don't want anyone to feel like I am speaking about any particular persons, places, or things. Directly. I know how people's minds wander, how they try to connect dots that shouldn't be connected. Okay, this is original work by myself. Okay, and at the end of the story, as I always do, I will show you the original rough draft from where I wrote this story myself. Okay, so guys, with that being said, we are just going to jump into tonight's story time, okay? Hello, my fellow counterparts and associates in attendance today. As many of you may already know, my name is Ali Angel de Magstas. However, you all are welcome to just call me L. Now, proceeding forward, several inquiring minds are wondering why this company meeting has been called today. And as the executive director of OG Oogle Inc., unfortunately, I have been plagued with the responsibility of enlightening you all about the most recent events pertaining to some unsettling information which has aired publicly on mainstream media news in regards to our company. As many of you whom are in attendance today may already know, our CEO of OG Oogle has been arrested for questioning in reference to alleged allegations of sexual harassment, human trafficking, torture tactics, cruel and unusual punishment, sodomy, and rape against a number of parties employed by OG Oogle, as well as outside sources in which this meeting is the reasoning for such said disclosure and are being discussed. On last evening, NWON, the New World Order Network, aired a breaking news segment disclosing the previously stated allegations against OG Oogle and the CEO, Olusius Godfellow. I would like to make everyone aware of the importance of this matter. Thus forward, federal investigations will be conducted, so please be aware that certain individuals may be called upon for questioning, confidential interviews, and testimony. However that may be, all OG Oogle staff, company associates, and investors are forbidden from conducting any interviews with the mainstream media news, tabloids, as do we advise everyone to stray away from any commentary of any kind on social media sites pertaining but not limited to any exclusive information about OG Oogle, the ongoing allegations being investigated, or any persons employed by OG Oogle Inc. OG Oogle, thank you in advance for your cooperation and understanding. Furthermore, if there are any problems, questions, or concerns, please feel free to contact me as soon as possible so that I may lay to rest or rectify any issues you may have. Henceforth, OG Ugo will continue to conduct business as usual in spite of said problematic situations. All personnel are urged to maintain your regular schedules and daily duties as well as affairs unless otherwise notified by myself. With that being said, this meeting is adjourned. We appreciate your time and patience throughout this difficult dilemma our company is facing. Okay, now that that's done and the coast is clear, all the company's minions has disappeared, so frankly, my dear, now I can turn off the corporate swag and just keep it real. I've been employed with OG Ugo for 23 years now, and to be rather matter of fact, I'm not a bit at all surprised by the recent scandal. You see, it's nothing new besides the fact matters have been made public. Usually, these things are handled discreetly and internally. Trust, I know. Oh, stop with the madness and shaking of your head. Surely you know the corporate world is much different than the average Joe or Jane working for some company on a lower level, only making minimum wage, whereas things like sexual harassment and HIPAA laws are strictly enforced. Honey, no such rules, regulations, or bylaws exist amongst the corporate echelon of elites. A sad state of affairs, yes, I know. But believe me when I say those initiated and in the know are undoubtedly aware of the ritualistic practices that takes place behind the scenes, and but of course, me too. Needless to say, I wasn't hired in as an executive director. No, not at all. I had to pay my dues, prove myself worthy, and work my way to the top. Come to find out one's knowledge, degrees, and credentials are the least of qualifications needed to succeed in a corporate setting. Starting out as 21 years old intern from another country, I learned the hard way how to excel within a very competitive and vigorously demanding corporation. I was an intern for a little over 1 year when I first realized just how things were done around here. Although I was used to the flirtatious nature of the atmosphere in which I was in, I was very commonplace to receive invitations to after-hour mansion parties where anything goes: sex, drugs, alcohol, music, as well as any other pleasures you prefer. The office catcalls were relentless. It's actually not really something hidden or kept secret. And as a woman, it's literally expected for you to remain polite. But my life was changed forever on the day I was summoned to the office of CEO Olucius Godfellow. The meeting was the beginning of the rest of my career for me. I remember that day like it was yesterday. The secretary handed me a memo as I arrived to work that day, which read plain and simply, report to Olucia's office by 9 a.m., which I did so promptly and with eager anticipation, considering I wasn't aware of what the meeting was about. This is until I arrived. Mr. Olush's Godfellow office was literally in an entirely different suite, which was a massive building and luxurious penthouse located across a beautiful botanical garden, positioned on the opposite side of the main OG Ugo headquarters building. Upon arrival, there is a security checkpoint where I was alerted that all of my personal belongings, including my purse and phone, had to be confiscated and put away in a secure lockbox. Surprised by such measures, I complied. After which time I was directly escorted not to Mr. Olusha's office, but to his very lavish penthouse, where I was told he would be working for the day. Once I arrived, the penthouse, the security guard left me alone. In the company of Mr. Olushas, the encounter started off cheerful and very professional. While speaking to me about my work ethics and performance, Mr. Olushas offered me a cocktail, which I declined, seeing as I didn't think it was appropriate to have an alcoholic beverage with the boss while on the job. In the back of my mind, I also felt like surely this was some kind of test to see if I would drink on the job or something. However, I did accept a latte, while Mr. Olushas himself had a double vodka martini. At some point, Mr. Olushas became very touchy-feely, standing behind me, rubbing my shoulders, while expressing just how pleased he was with me and how I could add such great value to the company. I was feeling a bit uncomfortable with the approach of the meeting altogether, but I maintained a graceful reaction to the circumstances. Mr. Olushas asked me how much did I want a permanent position at OG Ugo, and expressed how sometimes sacrifices had to be made in order to be promoted to higher positions, levels, titles, and roles. At this point, without a doubt, I knew Mr. Olushas was nothing more than a very wealthy con artist that got what he wanted. Nobody working for him tells him no. It's his way or the highway. But now I felt a little woozy. I hadn't drank any alcohol, so I immediately knew Mr. Olushas slipped me something. I could not believe he actually drugged me with something he placed in my latte. Meanwhile, he never stopped filling me up, making his way to my breasts that were exposed now. I thought to myself, it's no wonder the security wouldn't allow me to bring my phone up here. As I sat there, high as a kite, Mr. Olushas made his way back to his desk, where he opened this huge glass dish full of what I believed to be cocaine. The man, literally sat there in my face, snorting lines like he was Tony Montana or something. Then he finally said, "So what'll it be? Do you want to advance in this business or not?" As he rubbed his fingers across his teeth, after which he opened a drawer and put $50,000 on his desk and said, "It comes with great sign-on bonus, of course." To say the least, I was speechless and practically motionless. Whatever he gave me had me in a daze. All I could say is, "Did you drug me, Mr. Olushas?" And he replied,
Oh, don't be so damn dramatic. It was only a malvolume to help you relax.
Bullshit, I thought. It was more like a date rape drug. The next thing I remember is Olucious dragging me to a room in the penthouse where he ripped off the remainder of my clothes and had his way with me. At some point in time, I blacked out. When I come to, I was in one of our company hotel suites alone and in bed. All of my belongings, however, were there. And when I got up to look around the room service had been ordered with a note attached that said, "You need to eat and drink plenty of liquids." Surprisingly, the food was fresh and still warm, as if it had just been delivered before I woke up. Ironically, next to the juice was a little pill and another note that read, "Plan B. Take it as soon as possible." This was eerily amazing. How could I ever show my face again at work? Thoughts ran through my mind rapidly. Was this my fault? Did I allow this to happen? How do I face a man every day that just drugged and raped me? Unconsciously, did I want this or do something to provoke such a thing? So much confusion. I wanted a shower right away. And while heading to the bathroom, I noticed the vanity. There was $100,000 and a note that said, "The job is yours," along with a lengthy non-disclosure agreement that had to be signed and turned in by the following day. If not, surely I was dead. I knew too much. I was rewarded the position of program specialist and received a very nice office. I had the duty of accompanying Mr. Olucious on many business trips where my services, if you will, were yet and still very much required. Nevertheless, I handled all Mr. Olucious' affairs. Program specialist sounds rather fancy, which it is indeed a lot of work on many different levels. However, most are unaware Mr. Olucious program specialists are highly paid fixers that knows the ins and outs of everything as well as organize, arrange, and or handle any problematic situations within the company. After 3 years, I was promoted yet again to a district manager of operations, where I spent 6 years providing my expertise and yet again receiving advancement to executive director, in which I have worked in position for 12 years. All the other positions I previously held are now occupied by other individuals, a few of which whom are a part of the unfortunate scandal that is currently taking place, whereas there are several women who have come forward against Mr. Olucious. They are 10 women whom encountered over CEO outside of the company. Therefore, I'm not aware of the personal background of the group of them, yet I do know that they all are either escorts, strippers, or porn stars, likely paid to make false statements. But there are also 5 OG Google staff members whom are also speaking out against Mr. Olucious, seeking to press charges on allegations I'm sure are truthful, yet I know they are being paid to talk. These persons are, in turn, Rosella Bronx, whom allegedly was raped at a penthouse party, Secretary Sally Walker, whom allegedly was sexually harassed and has been stalked throughout her career here at OG Ugo. Program specialist Morty Sims, whom allegedly was forcibly raped by Mr. Olucious in a bathroom. Public relations agent Jason Kelly, who was forcefully sodomized, as well as district manager Roger Whiterab, whom allegedly has forcibly been sodomized and forced upon oral sex on business trips. All of which doesn't look very good for our company. But after further research on my behalf, I've come to find out it seems Mr. Olucious has pissed off some very high up elite powers that be. Thus, this entire scandal is a setup. People in the know are very concerned though, because everyone knows Mr. Olucious' very good billionaire buddy, whom he often hung out with on private islands, was recently sacrificed, murdered, which the media ran with the cover story that he committed suicide. But I know better. The man's skull was cracked open. See, the masses are very much blinded to the dark side of business, government, and the entertainment industry. It's a very sinister, evil, wicked, satanic, masonic, and demonic environment. Taking oaths to secrecy and participation in satanic rituals isn't optional. The fact of the matter is, it can be very dangerous if you're not careful. People are whacked around here all the time, but it's mostly done underground or in the shadows, so no one really knows. In fact, there were two other people who spake out against Olucious and released recordings to the tabloids. Needless to say, both of them mysteriously died in very strange ways, which was left unexplained. More often than not, Mr. Olucious has maintained his status of being untouchable, always down to pay to play, so his generous contributions to specific political parties has always given him leverage and protection from scrutiny and or legal obligation in any problematic situation. But obviously, the current matters at hand are far and beyond the control of political figures in power, seeing as all of Mr. Olucious' high-ranking associates has been advised to neglect him. Furthermore, it seems all of Mr. Olucious' connections has been compromised, which honestly puts him in danger. Of course, he has a lengthy list of wealthy individuals' names whom he has dirt on, something in which certain individuals would stop at nothing to prevent him from leaking. In spite of that, Mr. Olucious has obtained some of the best attorneys money can buy to represent him. And since our company meeting this morning, Mr. Olucious' godfellow has been released on $1 million bail to get his affairs in order before his court dates. However, it come as no shock or surprise to me that Mr. Olucious, just as many other previous CEOs, has decided to step down from his position.
in all honesty, more like forced to resign. Yet OG Ugo is yet and still and will remain in business. In conclusion, for those of you wondering, the OG in OG Ugo stands for Lucius Godfellow. The end.
Well, you all, that concludes tonight's story time with Poetic Psychic Pisces, High Priestess. I do hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like, share, and subscribe. It will be greatly, greatly appreciated. As always, I show you all my script. Okay, if you all can see that, this is the original writing, okay, of my own on this entire story here. Okay, guys, so of course, if you all would like to contact me, you can do so at tiffanyziegler60@gmail.com or at tiff.diamond.36@gmail.com. Also, if you would prefer to contact me by phone, preferably text, you can do so at 501-478-8035. If there is anyone who is feeling generous and you would like to donate to the channel, you can do so at Cash App, which is $tiffdiamond36, or through PayPal, which is paypal.me/@36diamond. Okay, as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, but most of all, take care of your babies. Y'all know what I tell you all the time. This is a wicked world that we live in, honey. There is wickedness in high places. There is evil that is lurking around every corner, even in a neighborhood near you, okay? So watch your surroundings. Watch the company you keep. Watch the surroundings in the company in which your children are in, okay? And since you never know who might betray you, who might backstab you, keep you some protection on you, okay? Y'all stay awake, stay aware, stay vigilant, and stay prepared. Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, baby. Until the next time, peace, love, and light. Namaste. I am that I am, created in the image of God.